This is Terrence Andre Banks coming to you today from Information Age Financial Solutions, discussing another fantastic, great book that everyone should have in their book library. The top reasons, the top 10 reasons the rich go broke. It's by John Macgregor CFP, as an international bestseller. Robert Kiyosaki's, it's probably one of the people in his camp. I've just, ear noted this book. I wrote it. I treated it like it was a college course or something of that nature. It's just packed full of such potent content, especially in a day and age where I constantly get barraged. I'm sure, I assume you as well, with quick rich schemes. Everybody's in the stock market. Everybody's doing real estate. Everybody's winning, and if you're not in that camp or you're not presenting that kind of angle, you may think that you're losing. This book is not just for the rich, that the reason why they go broke. It discusses people, middle class and poor people as well, and understanding the mindset. But really it focuses on a number of different stories of how people who once had obtained what we consider massive amounts of wealth lost it. And these are not just the celebrities and stuff like that. These are actually people who made millions of dollars that you may not know, who own a small business, maybe left it to their kids, or some other form factor. Maybe they even let celebrities, well, in some cases sports stars, because this is CFP, he deals with a number of different clients. I'm just going to kind of read some excerpts in there that I pointed out that was just fantastic for me. And again, I encourage you to take a look at this book. It came out in 2000, copyright there, 2020. It was first press release, but I bought it earlier this year. I'll just cut a couple things out. And what makes it more interesting is it's stories. And stories is a way to help a lot of people to relate, especially myself. I'm just going to cut into a couple things that I have so much here, but if you won't understand the context behind it. He uses this thing called the bear trap. And it's beliefs, excuses, results, actions in the middle of its destiny. You'll see that here inside of it. And he uses that to explain how we constantly get in. Bear is an insidious chain reaction that has powerful and consequential effects that ultimately lead to one's destiny. It's here where your harmful beliefs around money turn into damaging excuses, which leads to destructive actions, which ends in painful results. This ripple effect you endure every single day is in essence your destiny. Beliefs work in your subconscious, essentially determining what you do, say, think, and ultimately come whenever you realize it not. And clinging to old beliefs. He goes on to explain how beliefs, and he sets the framework for how this bear trap comes into existence. In a way, beliefs have become people's identity, and this identity has become their unhealthy sanctuary. And it's about the beliefs, a number of pages on that. And he explains how bad is it. So this is when he just talks about the statistics for regular people, middle class, even upper middle class as well. Today, to somebody coming in this country for the first time who had no idea what America was or will be, it would appear that as though we're super rich. And compared to the rest of the world, we are. But much of that wealth in terms of cars and houses and material items is nothing more than illusion. Bought and paid for in debt. Make no mistake about it, no matter what your financial situation is, even if you or somebody you know is living right around, I'm reading too quickly. Make no mistake about it, no matter what your financial situation is, even if you or somebody you know is living right around the poverty line, they are wealthier than the majority of the world. Okay. So much money is spent on things we don't need, but what's even more troubling is that the vast majority of these non-essential items have somehow transformed into necessities in our minds. Good thing. We're thinking little of the consequences our action will have on our future. Our belief system has been built around immediate reward. 78% of the people in the United States are living paycheck to paycheck. That's 78%. It means that nearly 8 out of every 10 Americans are waiting for their next paycheck to cover basic living expenses, including their electric bill, phone bill, mortgage, rent, and credit card bills, or even to fill up their gas tank. Now, you might have heard those statistics before, but it's really potent when you get to see it again, and he's pointing out this. There's another part. Approximately 26 American adults have approximately absolutely zero savings. 36% haven't even started putting money away for retirement. And we're not just talking about 20-somethings, but people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. The average American bank savings account has about 3,400 in it. Before you get all excited, realize that average accounts for everyone. 64% of Americans cannot come up with $400 today for an emergency. We've heard that statistic before. Socialistic ideas is one of the prime reasons we want to be saddled with staggering debts that take decades to pay off just for a college degree. Many students are taking out loans but don't even graduate. It's taking longer and longer for young adults to graduate. Just as 6 in 10 college students graduate in 6 years. That's interesting. Over 2 million Americans now owe more than $100,000 in student loans. If you start life off in a deep hole, it could take you 20 to 30 years just to pay it off. Pension problems. I did a video on the pension problems, but he kind of outlines that there. According to Social Security Administration, 62% of retired workers rely on Social Security payments for at least half their monthly income. 34% of retired rely on Social Security payments for 90 to 100% of total income. Because of their beliefs, they can and don't want to even think there's a possibility they will reach retirement and the pension fund will be empty. Very important point. Recently, U.S. Treasury Department permitted Ironworker Local 17 in Ohio to cut retiree benefits by as much as 50%. This ruling will now pit current iron workers against retired workers in a vote to approve. It happened with this as well. WorldCom, happened with Enron, happened with United Airlines, happened in Greece and other countries about these pension problems. And it's now starting to happen in various states across the United States, namely California, Michigan, Connecticut, Illinois, Kentucky, New Jersey, my home state of Hawaii, yes, even New York, which is considered the world's leading financial center. And currently there are 67 multi-employer pension plans that cover about 1 million workers that have filed applications with the government to be classified as critical and declining. Repeat that again. Currently there are over 67 multi-employer pension plans that cover about 1 million workers that have filed applications with the government to be classified as critical and declining. So about 78% of people living paycheck to paycheck. Many of these pensions are one disaster away from complete meltdown. Suffering from stress. Here are some other sobering details. The pensions for 1.3 million truckers and miners are in jeopardy. Plans in the worst shape, short $100 billion. The House passed only bails out the most trouble and still doesn't give enough to save them. The government insurance program designed to backstop the pensions has warned it expects to run out of money by 2025. That is less than 3 years from now. Okay? Out of the 10 million or so workers and retirees who participate in multi-employer plans, a significant percentage could end up receiving a fraction of promised benefits. Anticipating $12,870 a year for 30 years of service could actually be as little as $643 a year. Suffering stress. I found this also quite interesting for health reasons. More than 75% of all physician office visits are the direct result of stress-related ailments and complaints. Do that again. More than 75% of all physician office visits are the direct result of stress-related ailments and complaints. What does this have to do with the top 10 reasons the rich go broke? Has everything to do because he lays out the framework. He gives you all the aspects where you just don't think that it's just the rich going through it. The United States is suffering as a whole in this insomnia of buying all this stuff at credit. Everything is going financially crazy. No one's happy with any kind of conditions they have in their life, not even realizing the mountains of problems that come in later. Why do we have so much trouble understanding money? 65% of people are considered financially illiterate. It is no mistake that you consider 65 people who are considered financially literate. Why else would this vitally important subject, the subject of money, be completely ignored in our schools? Even with all the information they're giving, it still is not stopping people from this number being that high. I would say as a society, it appears we are spiritually lost. Very good point. The term I use here, spirituality, refers not to a religious belief system, but rather to the spirit of being of an individual. Most of us wander around looking to external sources to fill some kind of void in our lives, something that isn't quite right. The reason why we aren't happy when we're spiritually lost, when we feel as though something else is lost. So many things go wrong, so many mistakes are made almost every level, so that when a man or woman or couple finds financial success and finally shifts from the poor or struggling middle class label to rich, they often don't have the right tools to manage their finances properly and maintain their newfound wealth. Unfortunately, many will end up right back where they started, financially drowning, struggling, and stressed. And he gives solutions too, so I don't want to just think it's just a plethora of problems without solutions. Just a couple of stories that will really bring to my attention, especially if you have kids. There was a family who was going to inherit $40 million, sizable amount of money, and the parents cuddled the kids and didn't get them prepared for that. It ended up disasters, with kids suing each other and they're losing the whole company and buying francs and living on fractions of what it was. Even one of the siblings actually had to live with his friend. And you wouldn't think that because of coming from such money and how the parents built up the business. But these are telling the stories because it's just to show where we're at and how we're not thinking things through. And I like that part because I'm just bringing that story up to that because I have children as well, married. And this is a very good point, and it's kind of overlooked and forgotten about. One of the most important jobs a parent has is to build character within their children, handing them everything they want, giving it to temper tantrums just to bring about a peaceful few moments, buying them a brand new car because they won't be caught dead in a used piece of junk, are just a few examples of the spoiling mentality to which Americans have grown far too accustomed to. But making your kids' lives easy can handicap them. It's not what you do for them, but what you taught them to do for themselves that will make them successful human beings. This is my favorite part right here. Struggle, sacrifice, and even pain can all help build character. Hard work, earning one's keep, and learning discipline are the true pillars of success. These are the tools and gifts children of all ages need from an early age. And that has been lost. That same fact has been lost. And it's just because it's so easy for everybody. And they make commercials and everything geared to this. You can make $1,000 here. You can do this. Your parents should be able to give you this. And you should have this. And you're constantly bombarded by this materialism and marketing, and not realizing that character is extremely important for you to even obtain those different things. Nothing wrong with having them or wanting those different things. But even you having the character and the willpower to go about doing that. And as parents, especially women, they're giving the kids everything they want. And he uses the example. He changes the names because to protect them. But he said Bub and Jean refused to see the signs of incompetence and immaturity within their children. They noticed it. They ignored it. They justified it. If they had confronted it, there was no way they could have handed the reins of their business to Dietrich, Donnie, or Tom with a clear conscience. Everything you built, including your family, is destroyed, and only remains are painful memories. Your good intentions destroy the will of your kids, rob them of their prosperity, and kill their ambition. Here's another point about this. There are going to be times when people slip and fall, when they completely fail, and that's when family and friends should step up and help. But bailing someone out should not become a lifetime pattern. A safety net shouldn't become a hammock. It's become a hammock. And raising a strong, mature, independent child doesn't mean creating a cradle-to-grave entitlement system. What is living with their parents into the 30s and even 40s doing for adult children? Do they gain a sense of responsibility? What about a personal accountability? There may be times when adult children need a hand, have bottomed out, but supporting them this way becomes a crutch. We've warned not to feed wild animals because they'll become dependent on it and no longer savage or hunt for their own food. In other words, they'll become weaker as a result. The same concept applies here. And again, he's not suggesting that if people are struggling in your family, that you're not trying to help them. It's just that we've gotten so accustomed to just giving individuals and not teaching them how to do different things, or even letting them struggle a little bit to find out what they're made of. And the recent events that goes on with constant checks being given to people, you see the results. And especially for parents and grandparents, you're creating a society for each generation becoming weaker and weaker. There's always going to be people that's going to rise to the top. But as a whole, people are becoming weaker, and they're looking for this. And the individuals that have the most amount of wealth are the baby boomers. And each generation, they were the luckiest. They're just the luckiest born at the right time. But they haven't prepared a lot of individuals for what's coming next. And they need so many resources for them to continue to function. Not to mention, even for Gen Xers and millennials and stuff like that, with the advent of credit becoming so easily available, it just makes things distorted. And you have these vast numbers of fluctuations of stocks going. Has not dropped. There's been no correction, and even if it's a slight correction, it goes right back up. Creates this false belief. When we see the results, we see the number of homeless, we see things increasing, but we tend to push that to the side because the market is hot. Real estate is it's in a super bubble, and everything is, we're in the everything bubble. But I digress here. It's just this book points out all of these different factors, and he explains it from different clients he had over time of friends who've obtained in most cases, the millions, and they've completely lost it. Some stories end worse than the others, but for the most part, a lot of them end pretty bad. Again, and everyone's not going to, and this is a disclaimer too, everyone's not going to think that they're going to come to, no one starts off thinking they're going to lose all their money or they're going to prepare their kids to then fail. But they're not watching the signs. That's what he calls that bear trap. And if you're not watching them, it even gave me things to think about. I read to my kids about this and explained them different aspects of how I want to help you. But even in my senses, I learned something as well. I could be helping too much and not providing a clear balance of helping enough with dealing with character. So it helped change me, and it's always worked for them. It's always good to learn some things to tweak on. Kind of jumbled up my words there. I can't stress enough, this book is extremely valuable. It's full of stories, a great read. Won't take you that long. John Macgregor CFP, Top 10 Reasons the Rich Go Broke. Powerful stories that will transform your financial life forever. Learning from your mistakes is smart. Learning from other people's mistakes is genius. And he's done a fantastic job of laying out those different things. I've already read a couple excerpts that I found that was extremely valuable. There's a lot more, especially it goes to the last part here, when you have an amazing idea. And in my society, there are individuals becoming exception rather than rule. Today, a growing number of people from all social and economic backgrounds who somehow feel what they have, what they're doing, what they are isn't enough. It's not. The best time to protect your money is when you have some money. So true, because people will take your money. He talks about that as well. It's not just ideas and products that people dive into. There are tens of thousands of people who buy into affiliate marketing campaigns and multi-level marketing companies with a dream of making thousands of dollars a week, working just a few hours from home. They're sold this promise of easy money, selling products and or services people absolutely need. They invest and start devoting time to it. In some cases, they quit their jobs to make time to focus on this new venture. They fail to see the big picture, the endless hours, mistakes, and marketing methods that will be necessary to make it work. Whether selling other people's product or innovating one of their own, too many of these men and women dive into it without a plan. It's like launching your body headfirst into water and having no idea whether it's deep or not. And with so many things about people telling you you're rich, so many courses to be given out, people are going to get money, you got to go to this level. It's important to read books like this because it sets a groundwork and brings you back to reality. Most of those things, if you even to the people who do get a windfall, they're not able to handle it, they'll lose it. And again, we have these once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, but opportunities will come again. And if you're not financially in the mental capacity to understand this and you're not financially literate, you could potentially lose it all. And the problem is young and old fall victim to this particular disease, especially in America where everything is easy, everything is attainable, and that is not the reality. There are limits. You will not win all, and what may work for one person will not work for 10,000 people. And a lot of people do not tell it's timing. And timing and luck, sometimes are the factors, and then sometimes hard work. A lot of times hard work. But the fact of the matter is that we're just living in a different age, and you need to be more financially aware, patient, and continue to increase your education. And with books like this, the Top 10 Reasons Rich Go Broke, it helps with you with that arsenal. If this video has been any value to you, please subscribe, leave some comments, hit the like button, share this video. Until my next video for Information Age Financial Solutions, I'm out.